Team Absolution fans, you see the drinks, you see the bar, you know what time it is? Bargate. Stick around. Hey Team Absolution fans, it's the captain here. It's time for another Bargate. So, but first, introductions, because we have a new guest. As you've seen, I've been rotating people in and out. Matt never leaves.
I live here.
Unless I leave. Our guest today is a great Weiss player, the TO over community, which is the same shop that I go to. And also a Bushi, top 4, right? Top 4 and top 8 in the Bushi events for Weiss, correct?
Yes.
So, very well accoladed.
Ex-fish player.
Ex-Bermuda Triangle player at Vanguard. Also played robots once.
Oh, yeah.
I made Braxton cry with that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you absolutely did.
He'll never tell you about that.
I also made Braxton cry with Pacifica.
You drew him to a draw.
She's a sadist.
She lives for Braxton's misery, and I'm okay with it.
I mean, who doesn't?
That being said, I welcome Jesse to the illustrious Bargate Bar, along, of course, with Matt and myself.
Cue applause sound effect.
If you've watched any of our Bargates, you now know this is the segment where we spend 30 to 45 minutes talking about a random topic of my choosing that is somehow connected to card games in some way. Today, brought Jessie because she has an interesting perspective in card games that is Bushi, that is the non-Vanguard world of Bushiroad, which, believe it or not, just as bad. So what I really want to tackle today is, we know a lot of Bushi does, what Bushi has done and does incorrectly in Vanguard, but do they treat their other card games just as meh? So, does Weiss have issues when it comes to the upper management and the distribution sectors?
So, I guess to hedge that question, I have to ask you what side of the game, because unlike Vanguard, Japanese and English Weiss are different.
So so you see, that's the first question I would ask. So, whereas Vanguard, the only thing that separates the Japanese and the English is time of release. Where sets are released at a different time, we're just behind them. But typically we'll get every other card. In Weiss, the cards are just different, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
So go into a little bit of that. Like, are the sets different, or how does it work?
So one thing that happened is Weiss is actually a much older game than Vanguard.
Right.
So when Bushi English version came out, they were way further behind in sets. So it was going to be really challenging for them to catch up. Not only that, but a lot of the sets that were released in Japan prior to the game coming over to English were things that were not super popular over here like they were in Japan, like Nanaha. Sure, lots of people know about it, but it's not the insane thing that it is in Japan.
Right.
Or Da Capo. It started out actually as the Da Capo card game. And even Fate, when it came out, was not over here nearly as big as it is now, or as big as it is in Japan.
You know what I just realized? You should probably rewind a little bit. Can you give the audience out there, what is Weiss?
Oh, that's probably important.
I'm sure somebody watched this like, I came for a Vanguard video. What is this weird W game?
They make another one.
It's German. It's a game developed...
Can you do the proper pronunciation?
I actually just hung out with a bunch of Germans last week, because we have an office over there and they were coming to visit. And I can try. It's Weiss Schwarz.
There you go.
And you have to say it like
Delicious.
really intense, and I'm sure
Schwarz.
I'm doing it wrong. Schwarz.
It's Liquid Shots!
It's not monkey.
But I was also told that a German would never say Weiss Schwarz, or like white-black. They would say black-white, so it'd be Schwarz-Weiss.
Oh.
So they got it all wrong.
Yeah, completely.
Bushi's off on the wrong foot already.
So like,
The naming.
unsurprisingly, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, what is Weiss, I guess?
So it's literally like the anime card game. So
Right.
And there are several games like this in Japan. They've been kind of slowly dying while Weiss has actually been growing, which is really interesting to see. And so basically the different sets are different series or sometimes different seasons of the same series in the same deck. So like if I want to play, if you guys are familiar with like the Fate series, like Fate Grand Order, that's a pretty popular game here. So like I could play the Fate Stay Night and the Fate Unlimited Blade Works and Fate Zero series all in the same deck, but they're all separate sets that get released.
Okay.
So like as opposed to Bermuda's 2019 or whatever.
But you can't mix and match shows, can you?
No.
Okay.
So like, well, the original game you could, so that's called standard format.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So there is a format for that where you can, and they do maintain a ban list for it for some reason.
It's wild.
So like standard, I think is like weirdly fun. I actually have a standard deck. It's my standard Magic deck because it's based on the Magic trait.
Oh.
It's funny. So then the Neo standard, which is the most widely played format, is you have to stay in the same canonical universe normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
But and you say canonical, like you said, like Fates has 3 different show sets, but they can all be played together. Or like Sword Art, right? Has
Yes.
different sets from different shows.
However, so Fate has non-canonical universes like Fate Prisma Ilia that cannot be played with the other Fate sets.
Good. Probably.
Yeah, hence.
And,
we can do that later.
So back, the different, they have different, because I do know, I remember you mentioned, and it's also important to add, like, I've played Weiss with you casually for fun, and Matt, I'm assuming you have as well.
I've been tutorialed through it, yep.
We've all been taught how to play Weiss to a very basic degree, just because we don't listen very well.
But we do know that it has impacts, and, no, not impacts, excuse me, that's Buddy Fight. Oh,
Wow.
We'll get to that later.
what are they called?
You totally know what they're called.
Climaxes.
Yes.
Cringy.
Yeah. Just small amount.
That can totally blow you out of the game. So it's like Bushiroad's got that nice little trend running through.
Yeah.
I will say the Weiss, typically in my little experience, seems to be less luck based.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the moments of luck incredibly more crucial. 'Cause
They
they're
can be really tipping.
They're less, but it's less because there's less climaxes in a deck than say triggers in Vanguard.
I would say White's is a longer game.
Right.
So you're playing a card game. It's inherently going to have some element of chance because you're playing a deck that's face down. You're not chess. So
True.
there's always going to be some amount of
Absolutely.
luck or chance or whatever. But I would say because each game is longer and the way the game is designed, it's a little bit more nuanced. Some would say boring, but I prefer nuanced than Vanguard. So you don't necessarily have, sometimes you have one card that can really change the game, but it's more about tempo and cadence rather than, oh fuck.
It's okay, that's 2 minutes, we're fine.
Alright.
You too.
The algorithm descends!
I've been asked what to curse, it's been killing me slowly.
You guys, it's hard.
It's so hard. But like it doesn't completely blow you out of the water like getting triple crit or something.
Right.
So like in Weiss you basically go to different levels, which would almost be like a level in Weiss would almost be like an entire game in Vanguard. So you go to level 4, you lose. It's almost like playing a best 2 out of 3. Of course I would still like best 2 out of 3 in Weiss, but that's another thing.
It's like you
I was actually going to be one of my questions in a little while. I was going to ask you if best of 1 is a fine, because Weiss is like a 30, 35 minute game, I find.
If you're bad.
But
Look, Vanguard players take a best of 1 in Vanguard in 30 minutes, and I think they're bad.
But I have thoughts about that. I've never tried it out, so I don't know if it would work in practice rather than in theory, but yeah, we can talk about that. But yeah, so Weiss, basically you go back and forth. It's about as interactive as Vanguard, which is not very. There is a counter step where you can play counters, so there is a little bit of thought. It's almost like guarding.
Right.
But yeah, so it's a bit longer of a game. I think it's slightly more nuanced. You do have a bit more control over your deck because deck out does not mean death. It means you just shuffle your grave back in, and that's a huge mechanic in
I've
the
always
game,
liked
actually.
that.
Yeah.
I've always liked when you can shuffle your deck back together.
So few games do it.
Yeah.
So few games.
Like a lot of like deck building card games will do it.
Yeah.
But like for like a game such as this, yeah, it's a neat mechanic.
It's super interesting, and a big part of how to build a competitive deck is cycling through your deck. Basically the idea is to get as many of your cancel damage cards back in the deck as possible, with as few non-cancel cards back in the deck.
Sounds like a heel trigger to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, but we're not here to talk about the game itself. What we're here to talk about is the company that runs them, aka Crapshoot Bushiroad. All right. Now, does your company, does Bushiroad in your game? Does Bushiroad in your game also cater more? Because like there's a much more heavy emphasis on regulating the Japanese market or the Japanese format or the Japanese meta. They've gotten better over time at balancing, but there was a time, I remember Matt remembers this, where like the Japanese would get certain cards hit and they'd be like, huh, I wonder if we'll get those hits. And months would be like, no, they'll just wreck the meta, it's fine.
English is out here on like a burning road like, while Commander Laurel's like, I can't do anything for you.
But it's 4 of them. Like, I'm sorry.
It's like the Zac Efron, like.
Yeah. In Weiss, does the Japanese seem to get more regulation than the English, or how is that treated there? Like,
yeah, so I don't know. Is there a ban list in Vanguard in English?
There is a restriction list. Yes,
Okay.
it's managed a lot better now than it used to be in the past, but it still could be.
How often do you get updates in English?
Once a year.
Yeah.
Maybe once or twice a year. I think once.
Or if terrible problems arise.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at minimum once after like Team Fest or like
Mhm.
after the Nats of Teams, and then once after the Nats of.
Is it pretty similar to the Japanese ban list, or?
Now it is.
Okay.
It used to be like super, like they would just hit Japan and then English could just run wild with
Yeah,
whatever's
yeah.
going on. Now it's more like
Okay,
streamlined.
so like I can answer it very briefly. There is no ban list in English. There's an extensive ban list in JP.
None at all.
So there's either ban or there's a choice. So like of these 3 cards, you can run 1 of them in a deck or 2 of them in a deck or whatever.
But for JP only.
For JP only in English, there is literally not a ban list.
So are you sitting there with problems running rampant because of this?
We
or?
did it sometimes. So the way that they kind of do it is they select sets to bring over. So like we're missing half of some sets because when the other half got released in Japan, it was just degenerate. And they had to hit it. And the way they dealt with it in the past, like there's a card that just broke the Japanese meta back, oh shoot, I don't remember what year it was, but maybe 5 years ago or so, it was from Nisekoi, it was the Marika Restander. And basically what it would do, and I don't know, this probably doesn't mean anything to you, it would like attack, burn 1, restand, or no, it would swing, burn 1, attack, restand, burn 1, swing.
Oh, that's what it is.
And I don't think you needed a climax combo for it. So you could just, as long as you could pay the cost and you had all the things you needed, you could do it. Granted, you could only restand once, but that 3 of those hurts when there's 7 damage.
Oh, no, absolutely. Because you can put multiple of those dudes in the front row.
Yeah. So ouch. And I believe I heard through the rumor mill that the person who designed that set got fired.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I like to see. Consequences.
Like it completely destroyed, and it came out. That card came out right before World Grand Prix of that year. So like World Grand Prix is the big Japanese circuit here, and like it just completely destroyed.
Wasn't that the set you built like when we went to regionals once?
That was Kantai.
Okay, like, I knew there was a set that like you had ordered the boxes and had them shipped from California. And like you opened them that day, I remember because you had them shipped to the hotel.
Yes, actually, shout out to JKTCG. June literally, I messaged him on Facebook, and I was like, I need these for the Atlanta Regional. The set dropped that Friday. I was gonna play on Saturday. Can you overnight these cards? And he was like, this is what I got for you. And then he literally overnighted them to the hotel. The hotel lost them.
Oh no.
Oh, I remember the hotel losing them too. Yes.
Because there was a Jessica that worked for the hotel, and they thought it was hers. And
I can imagine the look on the Jessica. I was like, I want these cards.
why does this girl wear a thong? I don't understand. Why is she in a sailor outfit and a thong? Yeah, she was crazy. So but no, I ordered the cards. I think I was the only one with a completely full deck. I didn't know what to do with it, and so I didn't do super hot
What a
with
champion.
it. And I had it built completely wrong, but I was like, I like Congo. Let's run Congo. Yeah.
So. Oh, crap, I had it. Oh, wait, but I remember also at one point you might have mentioned to me that another way that they balance it, that Bushi decides to balance, is if cards end up being broken in JP, they errata them or change them when they convert them into English, which must be hella confusing.
Yes, so that's actually exactly the point with Nisekoi. So they wanted to bring Nisekoi over because guys like their waifus, girls do too. Let's be real. But
Yo.
I'm not joking. But yeah, so they brought Nisekoi over, but they couldn't release that completely busted card into the baby English meta. It was just not gonna nice. But it was like
I was waiting for Matt to say something.
I was trying to ignore it because it wasn't happening.
I'm not gonna say a thing. I've said enough.
But yeah, so they tried to bring the set over because it was gonna sell really well. The problem was they kind of bait and switched people who would like order cases, because then the cards, all the level 3 boss cards came over and they were changed.
No, how did that splash? How did that?
Not well. Not well.
How did that impact the people?
They were pretty upset about it, and I think had they said it like when the set was announced that hey, we're gonna do this and these are what these cards are gonna be, I think that probably people could have made their decisions and it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But as far as any hope of mixing JP and English, that made it really, really hard because that wasn't the only set that got the treatment.
Right.
They even made English exclusive cards for like Fairy Tale, which was extremely outdated by the time it got released here. That made it better.
So
Not great,
they were like
but
just really
better.
trying to catch up.
Oh, I see. So they brought like an outdated set. Man, I wish they kind of would have done that at Vanguard when like the sets were out of order,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
and they would have been like, here's set 2, but like we threw in this combo card that like makes the deck good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would. Good is maybe strong.
You won't feel bad you feel bad, but you won't feel horrible for wasting your money.
I mean,
on
there's
these
one
cards.
more shirtless gray card in it, which
Yo!
I
Do they ever change the art?
Yes. And sometimes, and this is, for some reason, a controversial opinion, for the better, or for the good of the people. I don't know.
The more
that-
conservative decision.
Yes. I don't know if it's better or worse or whatever.
They redid market, which is probably a smart thing they should do.
And legally, actually.
Also true. The legal department.
For the
probably.
people who really, care or don't care about what other people think about them.
I mean, if you like having new 10-year-olds on your cards in the game store, that is completely your decision. Or the game store's decision. But
Bad people out there.
Kermit sips tea, but that's none of my business.
just saying. So yeah, they have done it. Only recently, really.
All right. Now, quick, I'll leave Weiss and enter games that none of us know anything about. Luck and Logic failed in the United States.
I know nothing.
No, I'm just putting these out because they failed. Luck and Logic failed in the United States. They replaced it with Dragonborn, which was an Eastern-only card game from Bushiroad.
Is that the one with the dice?
Yes, that was the one with the dice.
I,
Also failed within like 4 or 5 sets. So my question is, what do you think Bushi's doing wrong in the East, in this part of the world? Because they've had 2 card games that they've stopped. Now, Luck and Logic, I think they stopped because they wanted to push out Dragonborn, but then Dragonborn stopped. Buddy Fight, which is questionably their most designed game for the competitive market, hasn't really been taken up for that. I mean, it's the only card game that has a best 2 out of 3 meta.
but
I know what the impacts.
But Bang Jam is coming in. But they're gonna put the anime girls on Buddy Fight. Now I don't want to play it.
We did get some Vanguard cards, I think, in Buddy Fight.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
excited.
played Buddy Fight for a hot minute. Back when Set 1 came out, I was playing Danger World in that trial deck, the OGs, and then I played a bit of Dungeon World. And I'm sure no one plays Buddy Fight, let's be honest.
Well, hold on. Really quick question. If you do play Buddy Fight out there, we are literally talking out of our butts right now. Because, like,
I played Buddy
Well,
Fight,
yeah,
I had an expensive
after set 2? Like, I think they're like...
Look, that one little restanding kid with the bananas on his head was really good.
Because
That's all I
they
know.
got that one flag called, like, I remember at one point they had, like, a Dragon World flag.
Yeah.
That was like you can play with any dragon card regardless of where it was from.
I just remember getting blown out a lot by impacts and having a very bad time. But a lot of the decks still felt pretty good in Buddy Fight. Like, for all things considered, for how stupid the name is.
Well, that's a problem. It's really hard for me to
For them
spend-
wanting you to play with the little cardboard that you have to lift all the way up
Oh
and then
my
turn all the way down.
I was waiting for Jesse to give me the proper pronunciation is Fight Buddy.
No, my
But you keep calling it Buddy Fight. You know what I'm saying?
No, but like I cannot spend like an excessive amount of money like I tend to on cardboard on a game called Buddy fight. It's bad enough I play a fake German game.
I can agree with
I
that.
couldn't say the minute that that this associated with me is like if Vanguard was targeted for kids, I get it, but it was targeted for kids who want to be cool. Buddy fight was just targeted for the kids.
Yeah.
It was like, do you want to be my buddy? Like, no, I can't. I can't. Buddy rare as a rare. Could you imagine if Yu-Gi-Oh released a card rarity called Buddy Rare?
Look, I'll admit it's targeted for the kid. I mean, some of the cards. I mean, you've got the general like. I'll hand it to Buddy Fight. They get the card fight art award. Like it's pretty clean. Like some of these cards.
A lot of
Yeah.
their art is
Oh, yeah.
really good.
I mean, but in
Weiss gets the best art award though because it's from the anime.
are they clans and no worlds in Buddy Fight?
Worlds.
Yeah, like some of the worlds are like straight out of the anime. Like Dungeon World is like about like an RPG. You're playing an RPG, but Danger World is like straight up like I have a bald eagle with like explosives all over it, and that's sweet. So it is targeted for the kids, but I mean,
But Misaki saves Vanguard anime.
that's true. She does. Thanks,
She's my girl.
Misaki.
She's
We're
my
talking to our
girl.
cutout friend.
Oh, she's my girl. I love her.
Oh, of course.
There's your boy down there, Kamui, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actual size.
Let's see. Is there another game that we're missing though?
Wasn't there one that Bushi had that was only Japan?
I'm sure.
It was like something cross.
Oh. All my Weiss friends are going to be mad at me. They
Something
just got
cross?
rid of it.
Like we said, we're talking out of our butt for the games we don't know.
I know what you're talking about because
Yeah.
everybody was excited because the IP could maybe go to Weiss now.
Mm.
Because it was another anime. Oh, wait. Was it Wake Sauce or Wake?
Yes, that's the one.
Was
Winx
that
Club.
No,
Winx
Winx
Club? I would play the
What remains of 4 kids is like, we're being mentioned! We're being mentioned!
I would have played Winx Club.
Ooh. You guys remember Winx Club?
The Fox Box?
I was way too old for Winx Club, but I still liked Winx Club.
I think the Winx Club was like the best American attempt at like a Sailor Suit
Yeah,
show.
they were like little
That and, like,
fairies.
Totally
It was
Spies.
cute. Oh, Totally
Totally
Spies
Spies
was
is neat.
amazing. That was a good show.
Yeah.
You know what? They should just because they're rebooting Charlie's Angels. They should have they should just make Totally Spies
I would
a
die.
movie.
I would die.
Why'd they put Kristen Stewart in there, man? She's so boring. Anyway.
Was it Totally Spies?
No, she's in the Charlie's Angels
the
remake.
Charlie's
Oh,
Angels
I
remake.
didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, it's actually happening.
3D is not that interesting to me.
You guys like tangents? We got
Tangent's done. Bringing it back to Bush. So 2 of the card games messed up, like hard.
I'm gonna go to that Nova Grappler gas station guy real quick.
Also, the Buddy Fight, in its attempt to market it to the East, didn't do very well apparently because eventually they did cancel their dub of the show.
Yeah.
Which is probably their like advertising arm of the.
I think the problem is genuinely they don't understand the market.
I could agree with that.
I do marketing in my life. And like the problem, so like if you've ever been to a Bushi regional, at least I've been to the Atlanta ones, other people could have different experiences going on, others around the country. But I would say the average age is like 20.
Right.
18 to 20. Because you've got some people who are going to completely throw it off. And then
Right.
you've got
There's people on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. But like I wouldn't say I routinely see anyone under 14. What'd you say? Like maybe some 12-year-olds, 10, very few little kids.
Yeah, it's
there.
mostly late teens.
Late teens.
Definitely.
Yeah, late teens, 20s. I see a lot of college students. I see
Mhm.
a lot of people old like us.
Yeah.
Well, me.
It's like I definitely have to agree. It's like a weird bug that kind of gets back into all of us. Like because anyone that's playing Vanguard or anyone that's playing not professional, excuse me, but like competitively in card games, like we all kind of get that bug when we get into high school and we get into college and we're like, wait, we don't care about what anyone thinks. Get back into it because it's still fun at heart,
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of catches all the college kids.
Yeah, and you have like a bit of disposable income, and you
Yeah.
can buy those double
Just
R's or
enough.
triple R's. So you guys
Yeah.
have like, and those sweet college loans that you don't have to repay later, right?
The refund check comes in, you're like, but this is money now. That's true. The mistakes.
Oh yeah, let's just take a moment.
All right, now that all my money is on fire, I do agree with you. I think they don't market very well. I'm always very shocked to see that Vanguard or Weiss Weiss. Well, Weiss is kind of hard because it doesn't have its own show per se. But like, didn't it though at one point? No.
Mm-mm. Well, they have the little commercials of Shioko, which is
She's like the mascot, right?
Yeah, she's the best.
Is that the card captor girl?
No, she is literally, her name is Card Game Shio, which means play card games.
Oh.
Subtle Bushiroad.
Smoke.
But she has like little animated like 10-second shorts where
Okay.
like there's this boy that she hangs out with and she always tries to get him to play card games with her.
Oh, that's cute.
It's adorable. It's just a manga, but anyway.
I think that I'm surprised to see that Vanguard was never like pitched to a channel or now it's on Hulu, but
It did have an anime. I forgot about it on purpose.
wait, Weiss?
Yeah,
I knew it.
it was really short and it was back in the day and I completely forgot about it until just now.
I gotta wonder how you do that.
I don't think it was with specific shows. It
Okay.
just had like the mechanics of the game and they're like two main characters.
It's like a quartet, but back in the day.
I think so. I don't know what it is. But yeah. Yeah.
So it did have a show.
It did.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I didn't want to be wrong on like the YouTube.
Don't we're wrong all the time.
But I don't
Okay.
want to be wrong.
That's fair. That's fair.
Through the magic of editing.
All things are possible. The good thing, I'm surprised to see that like it was never on a channel, like because Yu-Gi-Oh made it. But granted, that was a different time where like TV was more popular than anything else. But it's not. I mean, it's on like Crunchyroll, but it's not on like Netflix or Hulu. Well, I think it's on Hulu now.
It was on Hulu, yeah.
But like, I think putting it on Netflix would have been a much smarter decision.
Yeah.
I met a kid once that I tutored, whose best friend like was like, Cardfight Vanguard, isn't that show with Aichi? And I was like, how? How have you come? I was like, I was stumbling YouTube and I watched like the first 20 episodes. I was like, how did you stumble onto YouTube?
Yeah, you don't stumble into Cardfight Vanguard.
Cardfight Vanguard. Like, what is the thread that you pulled on that brought you here?
I honestly think a big mistake that Bushi makes is with the naming of the games in the US. Like, I think calling it two different things in two different markets would be crazy, so, like, I get it. But, like, Card Fight Vanguard, it's never going to be anything than a card fight. But, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sounds kind of generic.
Yeah.
And, like, and this is kind of super abstract, but, like, if you're a kid and you're like, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! It could be any show. You don't know necessarily what it's about unless you've seen it.
Right.
I like Card Fight Vanguard.
They should have just renamed it Vanguard.
I
It
think
should
that
have
would
just
work.
been called Vanguard.
I think that would
Short,
work.
simple, clean, to the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we have a big problem with Weiss of like maintaining communities sometimes because there's no unifying thing. Like y'all have the anime that draws in new people. They might stumble upon it on Crunchyroll or
Right.
Hulu or see a cosplayer, which I've seen a Misaki cosplayer and it made my day.
Solid.
She's my wife. But like, yeah, so like you have this unifying thing, like, and we can be like, hey, you like Sword Art Online?
Which also has its own allure, though.
Yeah, but like you have to have the nexus of people who both like anime and card games.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Like, 'cause the thing is, like, you almost got me with Gurren Lagann, because it was Gurren Lagann.
But did you buy the set?
No, I didn't.
Exactly. And she almost got me with Bakemonogatari, but I'm still not playing Weiss.
Yeah, but if Bebop comes out, though, I mean...
You said that about Gurren
You
Lagann.
said that exactly.
Yeah, but Bebop is Bebop, though.
But you said that about
You said that exactly.
But Bebop
Alright,
is
he's
Bebop.
full of crap.
Also, we're getting JoJo's,
Oh no.
and the
Which
cards
one?
are
Which one? Which
gorgeous.
one? Which one?
JoJo's.
That's a lot.
The one with the Dio.
Oh,
So
so...
1 and 3? 1, 2, 3?
Well, it's probably Stardust Crusaders.
They probably would do Stardust, yeah.
I mean, that's the most popular one.
Are they all not just the same?
Nah, I wish.
You're gonna make a lot of people mad.
Yes.
She
I
didn't
can,
mean it.
I can already
She
see
didn't
like some of them like, aren't they all just the same?
Yes.
Like giving the guy like types so hard and like come.
But the beautiful thing is like,
Yada yada dizzy.
That's the best part. So I'm trying to keep these a little shorter so that we can do another one.
but we're talking about why Bushi messes up in the US.
Yes. So we talked about the marketing.
Yeah.
We talked about I think regulation is something we kind of touched on before. You know, ban lists.
Mhm.
The fact that Weiss isn't regulated at all
Yeah.
in English, and Vanguard for the longest time wasn't. And I still think that this market expects more regulation, I think more regulation is a good thing in this market. I think they want more things. What do you think, Matt? Do you think the Vanguard community in USA, Europe, stuff like that, would prefer to see a more thorough ban list every 6 months?
Oh, absolutely. That was here we go tangential again, but like that's kind of why like Yu-Gi-Oh was always a little exciting because you knew it was ban list season and everyone was excited about it because it completely like changed the flow of the game. Now Vanguard Standard, I felt like the ban lists have been a little piddly here and there. Like there's nothing really major. Granted, we haven't had a lot of huge problems to fix, but also. I think people like the constant updates, if anything. Even if it's not anything major, you like to be kept in the loop. You like to know what's going on, and you kind of don't hear from Bushiroad like a lot. I mean, we get the product streams, obviously,
right?
But like, that's about it.
I think that's a really good point, actually. Bushi, they've stepped up their game at least in Weiss lately, but they've been really non-communicative, and I know that's just kind of a company thing that they do.
Right.
But I think in today's world, it's not a smart thing to do.
No.
And so like when people, we have a problem in Weiss with our sets getting delayed all the time. Causes a huge problem with not only the tournament scene, but stores. They pre-ordered this product and they've got money sunk in their pre-order and they can't sell it.
Right.
So that's a money thing.
It's a huge money thing.
Yeah, and they might, if you're buying X amount of cases, it's an issue. And a lot of times it gets delayed due to licensing or errors. It's licensing. But like, so we have this huge problem where they just don't have their ish together over here to get the licensing sorted, and they don't always tell us what's really happening. And then just be like, at the last minute, sorry, that's delayed. 4 months later.
And this is not to say that any Bushi rep we have over here isn't doing their job.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not but. Like a little more of a word here and there, I think would be appreciated because people. You're totally right. It's a bad idea to not communicate with people in this day and age. I think it's
transparency is a huge.
Absolutely.
It's a huge thing for building trust and confidence, and credibility, and I think.
See, co-money knows they're co-money, but they'll at least talk to you about it.
They know they want you, but the thing is, both sides of the table know what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
you want the money, and I know you want the money.
Yeah.
So let's cut through the crap. And let's talk shopping.
Exactly.
How much money and where does it go?
No, and we did mention, but marketing's definitely like it. I mean, that's so important. Like you run a business and you can't market it right.
Other thing that just hit me, the fact that neither one of our games have a competent, I said it, and I say it standing by someone I know very close who's on the team who is one, judge program.
Aww.
Well, Andrew is a great judge, and I stand by him because he is a great judge when it comes to judging. There's not a lot to say that the judge program needs a certain level of overhaul. I think it needs...
Oh, absolutely.
I think for Weiss, it's even more crucial.
Oh my god. See, the problem with the judge program in Weiss is the people who are most qualified to be judges don't want to be judges because they want to play.
Right.
I don't know if I would count or not, but like, and I'm pretty bad with the rules. I have to remember. I have to like refresh every time because I'm like, whatever, just play your cards. But like, really, we have a problem because we get so few opportunities. I mean, you guys at least have ARG you can go to.
Right.
Weiss is...
Does Weiss not have ARG?
No, dude.
No.
I didn't know that.
ARG doesn't...
ARG thinks DB's super is way more important. And Force of Will way more important than Weiss.
Now, Force of Will,
That's surprising.
The fact, Force of Will, Nats, what was the number that Keith said? Force of Will, Nats had like 23 players.
Yeah, like nothing at all.
I mean, that said, like... most of the feedback I've gotten from the Weiss community about ARG is like not super favorable. People don't seem to like be super into it. So maybe I'm sure ARG knows their business. They know who would be interested or not.
Wait, so hold on. I want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So you're saying that like the community,
the people I've talked to, which does not by any means represent
stretch the entirety,
yeah.
but
like just the few people that I've mentioned it to, like, hey, it would be cool to at least be represented in ARG or something similar, like an independent circuit. Which my like crazy person, like 4 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna do it, and then I was like, no, I'm not.
That's fair.
But like we have World Grand Prix, which is kind of run by proxy here by a shop out of New York,
Well, that's kind
and that's the only Japanese circuit here in the country. However, there's issues I could go into about that, but also if you want to go to nuts, you go to a shop in Rochester.
Mm.
Ask me what's in Rochester.
What's in Rochester?
Nothing.
That's why I thought.
That doesn't even have really publicly accessible bathrooms.
Oof.
And you've got
All right.
at least 80 people in there.
Oof.
When I went years ago, because usually I run the regional here and I don't like to play and run at the same time. But I went my first year and I had to go to the Goodwill next door to use the bathroom.
That's rough.
I don't like that any part of that sentence.
And you've been around card game players. This is kind of a small place.
A little bit.
Stay tuned.
It gets stanky. But like I think that's a big problem because there is a huge, almost other game in Weiss that doesn't get played here because the JP Meta is completely not represented. And that's good, bad, I don't care what you think, but that is just what it is.
Right.
And then also here in Weiss, like we can go to the Bushi USA regionals, which is maybe 10 every season. So we travel down to Atlanta.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and it's super fun. I love all the Atlanta guys. They're awesome. And we can do that twice a year. And so it's like you put everything into those two tournaments or you get nothing.
Absolutely. Now, I will say, I think that it was a very similar, unfortunately, it was a very similar, my favorite part is that I poured that in the big stein. So every time she like takes a drink, it's like, glug, glug, glug. So, this is the last topic before we end this bar gate, but there will be another bar gate soon. Shoot, it left.
While you think about it, something I wanted to mention in how Bushiroad deals with exposure, and this kind of goes back to another video of ours. If you haven't seen it, go check out our product video about Bushiroad, about the accessibility that they have trying to penetrate our market. They don't have and we mentioned, I'll just briefly touch. Other card games. You've got tins. You've got your stuff in your Walmarts and your Targets and your big department stores. I think we sometimes talk about how we went to a Walmart way back in the day and found some old Set 6 blister packs from Vanguard.
50% off. It was the
50%
greatest
off.
day of my life.
It was already discounted. But like, you never see them trying to make that effort in putting anything in the mainstream. Kids are going to buy the card games and you're going to get that early audience in by having the kids go, Mom, I want that pack. It's got a cool shiny cover and a guy on a horse. Like, it's...
No, that's a huge point, actually.
Like, there's no accessibility for
and even in the
like
game
that.
stores, it's hard to get a distributor that's not trying to rip you off.
Mm-hmm.
Like our local store, they have to charge a lot because the distributors down here are like charging an insane amount.
Very turdy.
Yeah.
Also, to extend on what you're saying and what you're saying, I think Bushiroad, in terms of its marketing, has not, at least in Vanguard, and I guess we touched on a little bit of Buddy Fight, like, have not used their greatest asset in their marketing tool. The art of the cards themselves. Like, Vanguard and Buddy Fight has probably some of the best art in card games.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think that they leverage that in their marketing material nearly, or leverage that in their marketing at all. Because, like, you play like, a lot of the art in Magic, very aesthetically pleasing to an Eastern audience. But Vanguard, Buddy Fight, Weiss, of course, is aesthetically pleasing to if you like anime, you're going to like the art in Weiss.
Of course.
It's just clips from the animes that you like. But I think Vanguard should really hedge more on that. Because, like, what you're talking about, like, if you put that stuff, kids are going to buy the packs, so like, man, that guy looks cool. I was 20-something and I saw Alfred, I'm like, I'm buying that because that's cool.
And honestly, I was talking to some of my female friends that don't play any card games. They're actually my cosplay friends. I told them Mermaid Idols. And I showed them, like, Riviere and Labrador and her friends. And, like, they're like, those cards are amazing. Those outfits are cute. I love that.
It's a great way to jump into it. I mean, the cover is set 13. You see Chaos Breaker. Tell me you're not gonna buy that back? God, that's cool. Like that's a very good point. Like that's like you just put up like one product poster for a set, and just see like the intricacies of the art. Like, I mean, when you look at a game like Vanguard, who blows so much effort on making, let's be honest, not very good cards in every set, but the art on every one of them is impeccable.
Yeah.
Even the ones that aren't. Lark Pigeon? Who doesn't want
Lark Pigeon?
So I have a modern marketing question for you. Do you think Bushiroad should leverage their influencers more? And not just because I know you guys, but like, I mean, most companies these days, like if you're looking at marketing your product, you want the people who are influential in that demographic to be speaking nice things, good things about your product.
Yeah, I think the short answer is yes.
And if Bushi doesn't want to do their own talking, let us be your megaphone.
I mean, I say that like I think, like I know, I'm pretty sure Kit did the commentating for Nats, for Weiss last year for English Nats, and Kit is got a pretty successful channel. Everybody knows who he is in Weiss.
I think that they should. I agree with you. I agree with that sentiment. I think that they should contact big YouTube channel to do this the commentating at Nats or not ARG. At Nats. I don't think we'd ever cut that list because I think we're on a secret Bushi shit list.
It's a secret when every regional, you're like, this is what you...
I was like, this is where you're garbage.
And it's called tough love, Bushi. We're just trying to help.
But like really, like almost every time you sit down to think about how can we reach people, that's what companies are doing today.
Oh no, absolutely.
For better or for worse, you know, like should they even reach people who are not necessarily already in their demographic? Because y'all are preaching to the choir.
Yeah, no.
So like, should they be reaching to people who are tangentially related? Like, hey, look at these cards. These are cool cards. Check out our anime.
Absolutely.
That's why we brought Jessie. She makes very good points.
She does a very good point.
You're making a lot of sense to me right now.
The other thing I wanted to end with is
Bushiroad, if you want to hire me to do your marketing, let me know.
they should leverage the hype of the games.
Yes.
Because that's something they've never done either. Like in the anime, they kind of touch on it because like all the games in the anime are hype.
Yeah.
But they've never leveraged the concept that like Magic players look over at Vanguard players. Weiss players look over Vanguard players because we're obnoxious. Yu-Gi-Oh players are like, man, I wish I could have fun.
Yeah.
Because like.
And took a shower.
Well, let's not say let's not go that far. When you're playing a game of Vanguard and I remember in my old card shop and even sometimes in this one, when you would flip the 6 damage heal. And like the whole like crowd around you be like, ah! Like everyone in the shop turns and goes, man, I don't know what happened over there, but that's exciting.
That's true.
I mean, we can say pretty much every week. Once you hit the last 2 people playing in that round of the tournament, the entire shop's gathered around the end of the table, and you just feel an air of excitement, and then the screams burst out. The shopkeepers look over. Somebody gets kicked out.
If it's a Bushiroad regional, Max gets told to calm down.
Man, I've never been.
Did you get told to calm down?
Yeah, Brax was playing. Okay, so I'll tell the story very quickly. Brax was playing in this. I've told this story so many times, but I love telling the story because it's so funny. Brax was playing against his opponent at Teams this last time we were there.
Yeah.
And
when I was with.
yes, where you were over. That's why you don't know the story. Because you were over there just dominating. And so, but we were just pleb lane. But we were rooting for our boy Braxton.
Mm-hmm.
And so Matt, I think, had lost.
I won the game.
You won, and I had lost.
Yeah.
And Brax was the only one, like, he had the whole game on the line. And he's playing against this this girl. I'll be honest, she seemed a little rude to him. Very not important story, but it makes what happened so much better.
She was playing Neos. He was playing Shadows.
Yeah. And it's Braxton's last turn, and really the game, it's his to win here or he loses. And he swings, she drops her entire hand for a 2 to pass. And under Matt's breath, I hear him go like, he's gonna hit. And I'm like, I look over at Matt, but he doesn't say it loud enough for it to be cheating or anything like that. I want to make that very clear. He says like very under his breath. First check for Braxton, critical trigger. And like Braxton pauses, Braxton's sweating. Look, little known fact about Braxton, he never gives off any emotes about being nervous, but look at his hands. If they're clammy, he's fearful. You put like the fear of God in him. He'll never show it, but like shake his hand afterwards. You'll know how hot it was.
Yeah, it was.
So the first 8, and then he's hesitating on what to do. And like I hear Matt beside me go like, and he's like, on the Vanguard. And his dog goes like, on the Vanguard. Second check. Another critical trigger. And upon the reveal of the second critical trigger, all you hear is Matt go, yeah! And slam the table with so much force that it vibrates, and everyone like 8 tables down is like,
I knocked Braxton's deck box to the floor. He catches it while still holding his 2 criticals. Oh my god!
Somebody needs to animate that.
and then the judge was like, you need to calm down. And he was like, look, I'm sorry.
I'm really not usually like that, but God, in that moment.
But please tell me you guys were like 1-1, like one of y'all had lost.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that was a tiebreaker. That was a tiebreaker. That's what made Matt so like.
I just leaned Jose. I'm just like, just critter. Just critter now. I willed it up on the top.
It was a destiny draw, dude.
He had the gust blaster out. There was no way she was healing out of it.
Yeah, because that double crit made her take like 7 damage.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
and
gosh.
she was like at 5 anyways.
So that's the thing, like that's the exact excitement. And teams, honestly, like call it competitive or non-competitive or whatever, I don't care.
Teams
it's
are
fun.
fun. Teams
I got
are
to
fun.
play with Beeley and Zach last time, and we had the best time.
In connection with that as well, in Weiss and Vanguard, no other card game has a format like that.
Oh,
and they
it's
don't,
so good.
And they milk it a little.
Yeah.
I still think Bushi should charge money for those events. 1, to run them better. 2, to give them more of an ante. And I still think the same amount of players would go.
Oh, sure. I mean, nobody's gonna be upset about a $5 cover, a $10 cover. Nobody's gonna
Right.
be mad. Also, did you see the medals? I got mine finally.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
They make it's like a friendship bracelet.
Oh,
Oh.
that's adorable.
No, because you're playing a card game already. You can play with your friends, or you can play with your friends.
Yeah.
Also, doesn't it kind of like speak to inherently increasing the turnout of your events
Yeah.
when you have 3 people per team?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also want to stretch out the reason why, from a advantageous point of view, no other card game really has a format for teams built into its card game. It's in the show. Like, yes, Yu-Gi-Oh has tag fight, but it's never really. There's no format for it. No one ever plays tag fight tournaments.
Yeah.
Two-headed giant is the closest to it in Magic, where like there is like a format for 2v2.
But I think it's so much fun that it's like based on your game.
Right.
So like, I'm winning my game not just for me, but I'm winning for my friends.
Yep.
There's no more heat than a 1-1 situation and the line's all on you.
Yeah.
And your friends are watching you.
And Braxton's hands are as clammy can be.
Or you look over and you're like, I'm so sorry, guys, I got blown out, and then both of them are like, got you. It's like.
Yeah, when you got the 2-1, and you're like, okay, I just gotta play, and then you blow them all out, and then it's the best.
Yeah. Leverage your excitement. Leverage the inherent joy that your game can bring. Because I think it's very understated, and I think it should be going a lot farther.
Oh, absolutely. And Weiss, they put the flavor of the show into how the deck runs, which is so cool. Like, you're in Lagan, like, you build a giant robot in a deck. That's literally the mechanic of the deck, is making a giant robot.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, isn't like the Mimi deck, like, you start with the big one at the end, and you attack with each one, like, the end of Gurren Lagann, and I'm like, now that's creative.
It's Sunder, and Clinton made top with it.
That's sweet.
I mean, it just is.
That being said, that's Team Absolution's first bar game with Jesse at the bar. Stay tuned for another one soon. Please hit that subscribe button and that bell so you know when the next one's coming. This is Team Absolution signing off. Peace.
Bye.